Uh, I'll get out and go back in. Sorry.
Ready to roll?
Mm-hmm.
Check, check. 1, 2. Check, check, check. 1, 2. Let's roll. All right. Hello and welcome back to another 5K tennis discussion. Today is Thursday, June the 18th, 2020. And we had a little brief moment in time to do a quick tennis show. In case you're wondering why we have been, I don't know, roughly about 15 days since we did our last tennis kind of chat. We had another arm break, so I broke the arm. I figure everyone would ask about that. Just one of those things. Anyway, I'm good moving forward. Right after that, we had a tropical storm, and I love doing the weather. So for a few days, we were into that, and this is our busy time of the year to coach. So we had a breather for this afternoon. So we said, let's roll.
Yep. Hey, Gene. Of course you're on.
We knew Gene would be there.
Of course you are.
All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to go to a source in which we get a lot of our tennis news from, and just start from the top, and we're going to flip through some of the current topics that are kind of going down the list of. I think the way these topics come across is the most often viewed comes up first, and then you can continue to flip through them, and then it becomes redundant, if that makes any sense. And I hope at the end of this that you all can understand why we haven't done a lot of shows since tennis has been without fans, at least in certain venues. It's not that we haven't wanted to do it, but sometimes when you continue to do things and there's no overall populous interest in it, it just seems like you're trying a little too hard ultimately to not do very much. So let's get into the first topic. Carly, you ready?
What's up, Lucifer? How are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
Welcome
haven't
back.
seen you in a while.
All right, so you're going to go to our app for news?
Sure, let's go on the app.
All right, and if you lose it, you lose it. Let us know in comments if we cease to stream this.
It's good so far.
Yeah, if you all know by now, our internet connection sometimes here is whack, to say the least.
All right, first thing I see
So
is...
you should go to Flipboard and just flip through them.
Oh, well, I don't have Flipboard.
Oh, okay, well, whatever. Start from the top then.
French Open announced big news after U.S. Open confirmation. I guess the Roland Garros will take place.
All right, so French Open.
The tournament will start September 27th, shortly after the U.S. Open ends, September 13th. Good luck to those that have to travel.
What is your overall interest level for this tournament, Carla?
If there's fans, I'm interested because I want Nadal to get another slam. Absolutely. If there's no fans, it's going to be kind of weird. Just like the U.S. Open, no fans. On top of that, there's no qualifying rounds at the U.S. Open. I wonder if they'll have qualifying rounds at the French Open. You know, I kind of think it's not fair right now what's going on at the U.S. Open. You can't qualify for it. Therefore, only the people that are in the top will play.
I'm going to call you out from the get-go because your first sentence on this topic was, well, the French opening is happening. I'm kind of glad because I hope Nadal gets another slam. That's fan bias, and I don't think...
Who cares? So, you know I like Nadal.
Okay, well, can I give you an objective statement to that?
Sure.
So again, let me just requote this. Carla indicates, yes, I'm excited the French, basically, and I might exaggerate it from point.
I'm not excited.
I'm happy, I'm content, whatever. I'm happy and content the French Open's going to happen because if Nadal plays it, he'll get another slam. Okay, well, thank you for your objective bias. Or your
But
objective
I wasn't finished. But the other thing is, I think it's kind of crazy with the way things are going on right now, with the way the world is, more cases coming up. How are they going to transition from leaving the U.S. Open to the French when they have to quarantine a certain amount of times? I just don't know how they're going to do this. That's a little bit worrisome.
Okay, first and foremost,
Oh boy.
let's rewind a bit and break this thing out in the open. There's 4 major tournaments a year, and those tournaments are to bring forth 128 players, the best of the best, wherever you may come from, and even open the door for some unknown qualifier to come up through the ranks and to plow his way through to the ultimate dream to win his or hers maiden or major first major trophy. Correct?
How they
Yeah, I'm just asking, just yes or no. Is that the overall? Is that the reason for the majors? For 128 players to show up that earned their right to be there and to fight through, including people that were given wild cards and qualifying wins. Yeah, correct or not?
Anybody can win.
Don't need a deliberation. I just need
anybody can win.
Yes or no?
Yes, anybody can win.
Yes. Number two.
You're starting to sound like people I've seen on YouTube lately.
Number two. Is there or is there not any correlation between fans pumping your favorite player on or not, and winning and losing? Is there any correlation thereof? Yes, correct. There is a high correlation between fans and hoorahing and doing the wave and flying your favorite player's flag on court while they're down in the dumps. There's a high correlation between that and finding your second win and pulling out a digger match, correct or not?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay. Number three, for the past, say, since April, we have all been kind of stuck, per se, and some countries and some republics and some places that aren't really countries and they just have borders or whatever, have different rules within each of them about traveling to and fro. Is that correct or not correct? Correct. So, with all of that said, are you telling me that if, let's say, since you brought your boy out of the bag, let's just say Rafael Nadal, of course, will show up to the French Open when half the playing field is there. No heartwarming stories of qualifying, digging deep. No fans to cheer anyone on but himself, and his head on a surface that he knows he owns. Now, are you going to tell me that this major, that if it happens with no fans and none of the aforementioned, does not deserve to be some type of crazy asterisk? And furthermore, some of those countries that will hope to have players go to that tournament, the country in which it's played in won't allow them to travel there because there's certain restrictions against that country. Am I correct or am I not correct?
Sure.
So why am I...
But then again, they didn't say if they're going to have fans or not. They didn't say. The U.S. Open, we know no fans. There's no qualifying round. There's no juniors. There's no wheelchair tennis, which is bad. So probably no doubles. They didn't mention that. I don't know. But that's a big asterisk. That's a big asterisk.
It's a huge asterisk.
And not only that, those that are flying internationally have to quarantine for a couple of weeks. So, who has the time and money to do that? Unless you're a top player, you don't have the time.
Now, someone may call me hypocritical in this one sense, is that we know, this is another topic that surely will come up, that Serena Williams will play the U.S. Open no matter what.
So, Michael Walker said Roland Garros will have fans. Okay, good.
Okay, vamos, great. But here's my thing with that, and here's myself going in an opposite direction. So for multiple months now, we have been told, stay away, wear masks, don't go anywhere, wash your hands, do this, do that. And now all of a sudden it's a free-for-all. To me, that tells me that maybe the epidemic was a little overhyped if it's that quick to a resolution.
Well, Lucifer said, Djokovic is the most ridiculed for not wanting to go. What are your thoughts? I think that Djokovic is kind of he's a hypocrite because he just had like a sort of an exhibition. You saw all the fans sitting next to each other. You saw him hugging, fist pumping, dancing. But then again, he says he's not going to go to the U.S. Open because they got to be careful. But he didn't seem to care him Serbia and his country.
Let's rewind to a show that we did maybe 6 months ago.
I remember that.
Let me finish it without the interjection. Brother. We did a show.
Are you okay today?
I am.
Do you feel like fighting with me?
I disagree with you on all these. Let me tell you why this is a different can of worms or a different cup of tea. Number one, we did a show not terribly long ago. Why is Djokovic liked or disliked? And a lot of it had to do with Eastern Bloc, Western Bloc.
I like it.
Old vintage Cold War stuff until very current, until like the mid 90s, right? Okay, what is one thing that Djokovic does not want to do, nor would I ever do, is pump some vaccine in my arm that I know nothing about.
I agree too. Yes,
so he is steadfast on that. Now, where he had his tournament was in his hometown with his patriots and his brothers and sisters, his brethren and sistren. Those are the people that he will bend over backwards for and to support no matter what. But you can't tell me that Novak Djokovic is itching to come into some country where he may not be as admirable or as admirably
He's itching because he's got to win slams.
But I get that. But with that said, you cannot compare to his Patriots and his own home turf Like in other words, what is it? 3,000, 4,000 people were there. It was packed. That's enough people to be in his group, in his crew. So you can't tell me that's the same as bringing people from 233 countries. What's our country count in the world that we live in today? Is it 233? Am I off by 100?
Yeah, probably. I didn't think it was.
It's a different thing.
Justin, I didn't think it was a big deal. To me, seeing the fans, seeing him hug and blah, 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 to me was like, okay, life's moving on. Good for him. Yes, to me, it's not a big deal. So I don't see why
But he can't be a hypocrite when he was with his brethren and his area where he comes from versus an international stew of people. Well, he can't be a hypocrite. It's
I get that he doesn't want the vaccine. I wouldn't want it either. But like Rafa said, rules are rules, and if you want to play the sport, you have to follow them. Simple as that. Didn't his friend just get diagnosed with this COVID thing?
I don't care.
His basketball buddy that he was partying with? I don't know. I just read it. I don't care. Anyways, he's going to want to play at the U.S. Open. His complaint was, we can't even stay in Manhattan. I can't bring my whole crew. And then we got to go through all these rules, then quarantine. That was his problem.
We're on a separate song sheet today.
I'm telling you what he said. How is that a separate song sheet? That's what he said. That's not what I said.
I don't know. I guess I just got lost in the whole. I'm so happy the French Open's happening because Nadal get to win another major. I guess.
He did lose. I see where Gene says he lost to Krajinovic, but I don't think it mattered anyways. He was just having fun. Who cares who he lost to?
Next topic, however, I think it's a far cry to compare.
Michael Walker said there is no vaccine. So what are we debating?
No. That dictate two different streets here. But Novak Djokovic has indicated that if there was some vaccine he had to take to prevent some acquiring some pandemic or virus or whatever, that he may think about continuing to play tennis if he had to take it. I think there has been a lot of conjecture around the world of planning tennis tournaments, at least at the major levels, that, hey, maybe we'll keep it with no fans until there's a vaccine, and then when there is one, maybe we'll make all the players take it and everyone else, and then we'll let fans back in. So I think that's kind of fast-forwarded down the narrow path, if that's how it plays out. But I'm assuming it will. I mean, if they're not letting people in now, I'm assuming that the only way they ever let it go back to normal is if some pharmaceutical company wins the bid for some bullshit they throw in your arm. But that's just me. And if that's the case, I wouldn't. And if that's the damn case, then I wouldn't blame Novak Djokovic for not taking it and retiring as the greatest tennis player of all time. Because you can't tell me Father Time and left-handed wonder that only wins on clay is any better than any one of those other guys.
Only wins on clay. Did you just really say that?
How many majors did he win on clay, Carla? Like 57?
That's not his problem. The other people suck ass on clay.
Again.
You wish you had one on clay. Just saying.
Next topic.
How can you say he just wins on clay?
He does. He just wins on clay.
Did he not win Wimbledon? Did he not win the U.S. Open?
Well,
Did he not win Australia?
But what happens if you take his 700 million French Opens away?
There is clay though, right? There are many surfaces.
I guess so.
If you could win on just one, you would be happy.
Well, I'm happy that you're happy that it will happen. So he can
anyways, whatever. Lucifer says, I think Djokovic doesn't have a problem with the crowd hugging players. He has a problem with the strict new laws which don't allow freedom of tennis.
And I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
Agree with it, totally. Next topic.
Novak believed the coronavirus doesn't exist in Serbia. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know. I talked to Bobby, and his wife is a nurse. And he says people are idiots if they basically he's like, people always in denial, always doing conspiracies. It's real.
Okay, let's use your this is Carla's story, not mine. This isn't conjecture, this is real. So Carla has an uncle, or actually her father's brother.
Yeah.
Pardon me. He was paralyzed and he was in hospice. He was in his late 50s.
He was in not hospice, but like
not hospice, like a retirement home because he was paralyzed.
Right.
He was on Medicaid, which is where the government pays for your health care. He was in a nursing home. He was not going to walk again. It was understood. But he was cognizant. He was mindful. Is it tacking off? Oh, do I check it? It's good, I think.
Okay, it could be my phone. Okay.
All right. So he's mindful of his surroundings. He is a parent. He's aware. Her dad goes and visits him. The next day he gets a call. You can't come here, but we're gonna put him on a way he can breathe. And he's like, wait a minute, I just left there yesterday. I was just like next to him. And then the next day, 24 hours later, gone. So uncle died. And I'm not saying that it's not real, but I think it is a real possibility that everyone that meets their maker is getting tagged with that to overhype it. If that wasn't the case, why would, and no disrespect to anything going on in the world today, and I'll skate around it, but why is it okay to go out and do certain things such as voice your opinion, saying it publicly correct or politically correct? Why is it not a problem? Okay, one of our tennis students just out here the other day said that I go into Walmart and Home Depot's and it's jam-packed, shoulder to shoulder. But yet I go to my dentist office and I can't even walk inside the door unless I'm out and tested. So why is it so harshly reprimanded to go into place A with absolute nothing but spatial requirements, and then all of a sudden it's not a problem at all to go voice your opinion, whatever it may be, whether it's in a downtown area or a rural area? Why is it so okay one day and so okay not the next day? And that just makes it a little questionable, to say the least. Anyway.
Gene says, Rafa won the U.S. Open a couple times, so what's your point, Justin? Only winning on clay, statement, laugh out loud. And Michael Walker said he actually won the U.S. Open 4 times.
I don't care.
In your face, because you don't like him?
It's not in my face.
Is it because he looks better than you?
Well, that's your prerogative. Okay.
I'm
okay.
Why don't we? Oh my gosh! Why are you so jealous of this?
Okay. Why don't we take away all the ones that he won on clay and take away all the Federer that he won on glass, and who still has more?
Let's take away Djokovic Australian Opens. Come on. You can't do that, Justin. You can't do that. That's like saying Chrissy only won on clay.
But if you took away
Justin, come on, don't even go there. That's wrong.
He just picks his butt too much.
He has an ass.
I don't like the dude. All right, next.
You don't like the dude? Why? Why don't you like the dude?
Man, he's wishy-washy. He cries a lot.
He's wishy-washy. He cries a lot. When have you seen this dude cry unless he wins? Better cry. He's a crybaby. You don't have anything.
We've talked about this.
No, you haven't. Now you're just being a little.
I don't like the dude. Is that all right?
You don't like the dude because of what?
I don't like the dude. I'm not a Nadal fan. I don't care for him. He's got an ugly game. He only wins on clay and whatever.
He only wins on clay.
Yeah,
that sounds like an ignorant fan.
Right. Anyway, think what you want. Djokovic is way better.
I'm not saying he's not, but not to like somebody. But you like Kyrgios.
I don't like Kyrgios. I've always said I would.
Well, we know Halep's not playing the U.S. Open.
She's out.
Yeah.
So
Serena's playing. Duh.
Well, and we were talking about a moment ago. I said that I would give Serena an example.
He said we're having problems with the internet.
Oh, well, it is what
you might want to put the AC on too. You're sweating like crazy.
Yeah, it's hot. My castle, though, it's going.
Yeah. But anyways, Halep's not playing. Serena is playing. We all know she wants to tie Margaret Court. I mean, of course she would play. You know?
Is it running?
Are we good now? It's fixed.
All right, look.
An ATP is an ATP event. It's just one. Guys don't fight. We're not fighting, seriously.
And this is how we roll.
Well, aren't they holding another tournament? The Western, the one that's held at Cincinnati is going to be held at the US Open. That's the other news, right?
Yeah. So look, it's great. It's great that tennis is coming back, but I think everything is asterisk ridden if the fans aren't there and if certain players can't travel to the tournaments and there's no qualifyings. I don't think it should go down in history as being Nadal's 20th major. However, here's where I'm going to give Serena Williams the pass. Serena Williams gets the pass here. If she plays this, and let me tell you why she gets the pass. If she plays this U.S. Open and wins it, given all the asterisks that I just said for the Nadal people, that wouldn't matter, right? It would make it irrelevant. Serena's record that she's trying to beat is ridiculous. Margaret Court is the same thing as Nadal's Frenches. Margaret Court won 300 million Australian Opens when no one else could play in them. And here is Serena trying to beat that record. So how is this not the same thing as Nadal is trying to do by playing the French Open? He was just telling everybody, take the vaccine if you're going to play. Take the vaccine if you're going to play. But yet he's going to go travel to the French Open and play. That's all I'm trying to get at. He's a little sissy boy. He's a crybaby like Federer, and he wants to go have his way. We were just watching the other night the real story about William Wallace, the Scottish guy that fought for the Scotland freedom of movement when the English invaded their territory in 1296 or somewhere in the 1290s, right? Mm-hmm. So the fact of the matter is that Rafael Nadal is preaching to the choir about, hey, if you're gonna come play here, well, bring fans and don't do all this or don't do all that or don't play. And if you're required to do this, then you need to jump on board because that's
you're
what
right,
we do.
Michael Walker. He doesn't like him because he's close to Federer. You're right, Michael Walker.
That's not even that.
You're right.
Man, Federer's a has been.
Shut up. You know what you need to do? Take your tattoo, go to a place and get it removed.
I do need to get it removed.
Because you're not a fan.
Let's roll. All right, give me some more topics.
Besides Halep not playing the U.S. Open?
We saw a topic, and again, if you had, I had Flipboard, right? And I just flipped through it. I didn't know.
The next one was Nick Kyrgios said that the Americans are being selfish to put the U.S. Open.
Is Nick Kyrgios correct for saying that? Is it not true that in the U.S. they have what is it, 330 million people now, something like that have readily available a remote control digital TV with 700 channels and everything else? Is it not true or not true? So the U.S. Open you get their money from advertisements, correct?
Sure.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not rocket science here. This is economics 101. The U.S. Open is going to be plastered in everybody's TV, and guess what? It's in the U.S., so everybody will be awake when the matches are played. It's not like the French Open where the finals start at 7 in the morning. It's not like it's
7
not
in the morning. Okay.
French Open that on Sundays at like 8 or 9 in the morning. Is it not? Jesus, I've watched them my whole life.
I thought that was the okay.
On Sunday, it's breakfast at Wimbledon, and the Australian Open's at 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever. But the television is going to be primed during those hours. Now, how is the media going to get the money to do what they need to do? Advertisements. So what does that tell me the whole tournament's going to be about? Advertising and just forcing and forcing a product down the throats of everyone, and therefore it sells tickets, right?
Right.
At least on TV, correct?
Definitely.
So didn't the Japan Open just scrub their tournament for the end of the year? And isn't the Japan Open later on in the year? That was another topic that you missed somehow. There was another topic, by the way, too. When I was a boy, we grew up in California in a military environment. Everyone that we associate with in this world, for the most part, believes in the same thing that we were raised upon. Never talk about race, never talk about religion, never talk about politics, because any way you talk about them, even if it's the most positive way, will get misconstrued to whoever is listening. I think we read today in some really awful news, and I'm going to tread lightly here, that there was a wonderful, beautiful, I'm a big fan
I'm reading out
of Arthur Ashe, whose statue was disrespected by some hoodlums that sprayed some stupid shit on it.
Mm-hmm. Richmond, Virginia. Yep.
I want to point this one thing out, okay? The stupidity of people that do things like this are very stupid. And let me explain. Arthur Ashe, in my opinion, is one of the finest tennis players to ever have played. When I was a boy, our father was big on watching Ashe play, watched the way Ashe carried himself in press conferences, watched the way Ashe presented himself around people interviewing him. And needless to say that very tough times that Arthur Ashe lived in, right? But Arthur Ashe never did anything more than try to bring the grace and poise to the game of tennis his entire career. So whatever hoodlums decided to defame an Arthur Ashe statue, you're an idiot, because the guy is everything that we all need to be more like. And I'll leave it at that. But what a group of fools that did that. Go pick some other deal that's actually, part of that type of negative vibe channel. But Arthur Ashe is not that. So he is, and has historically been in the tennis circle in which we all live, a very admirable and graceful person. And I'll leave it at that.
First of all, I think everything that's going on in the world right now is shitty. For people to graffiti on any monument, to protest the way they are, to loot, it's shitty. I don't care what you're fighting for. It's shitty and disgraceful.
All right. I think in the past 2 weeks, that's about all the topics.
Oh, Federer's out, until 2021.
Okay.
Gene said the Basel tournament's canceled.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Federer's not going to win another major anyway. Who cares? Who gives a shit? Woogus. It's not going to happen. And if you think that, come on. Really? He's not going to win another major. So, and the only reason why Basel has been the one of the focal points of the last 15 years is because Federer wins it all the time. Mm-hmm. So
Bianca Andreescu is playing at the U.S. Open.
Good for her. She needs to get fresh.
Yeah, because she hasn't played a tournament in a while, so I see that in the news.
I think Kvitova, Petra. I think
they're all deciding.
They're still deciding.
Yep.
Halep's not playing. We talked about Serena will play no matter what. Again, I think she should already have the record, and her having to still play to beat Margaret Court as the ultimate is, to me, borderline racism in of itself. But I won't even go there. Anyway, Serena should be the GOAT no matter what. Period.
I agree. We saw Venus just turn 40. Oh, so I also saw electric line calling to replace line judges at the U.S. Open.
To be expected. I think we just sent the Dragon X space capsule to the moon. So what better way to funnel more people out of jobs is to set up a robot on the sidelines, and it'll eventually happen. I think some of the goals for all this, these vaccines and these pandemics and these divisions of people, I think it's easier to control the bigger mass. What better way to control the masses of people than divide them and then control them from there?
So Maj says,
crazy.
"Hey Stefan, by the way, I personally think that Federer called it quits this year because he doesn't want to have to go through the whole quarantine stuff. I think it's smart for him.
Got 4 kids at home.
It's smart for him.
So?
Maj says Fed did the best decision not to play. There's nothing for him this season. Maybe he made the story. Who knows? He didn't rehab well. Anyway, that was wise." Michael Walker says Justin's saying Federer isn't going to win another major because he's so hurt over Wimbledon lost 2019.
Michael Walker. I'll put.
He can't get over 2015.
Michael Walker. I'll put $200 to your 50.
Your $200.
I'll put my $200 to your 50. If Roger Federer wins another major before he retires, I'll give you $200, and if he doesn't, you give me 50. We on?
He's not saying that. He's saying that you're saying it because you're hurt about.
It's a fact. You're going to tell me a 40-year-old man could take time off and come back and beat Novak or Nadal or even freaking give me one, Benoit Pierre, for crying out loud. You can't be 40 years old and take that much time off and come back. You can't. It's impossible.
He's not taking time off. He just doesn't want to deal with that.
If he's not playing matches at a very high level, he's taking time off.
So you're telling me these guys playing 4 games or practicing?
Man, 4 games for
4
sissy.
games?
Sissy stuff.
Come on, man.
Sissy stuff. I don't even get warmed
Michael
up
Walker
down
said anything's
4-0.
possible. Yeah, I agree. Anything's possible.
Let's roll.
I also read where somebody said it's very boring to see players like Roger Federer.
Look.
Who said that?
I don't think it's boring for someone to be like Roger Federer in his prime when he's electrifying.
Oh, let's see who said it. The idiot Marcelo Rios. Of course he would say that. Because, he wants to watch someone like Nick Kyrgios, of course.
Okay, now Marcelo Rios is arguably the longest. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did not Marcelo Rios stay number 1 in the world for a while, but yet never won really terribly much of anything outside of like ATP 500s, a few 1000s in there, a lot of 250s, and he was number 1 in the world. I think.
So he says nowadays I do not entertain myself watching tennis. It's very boring. Many say that it's very boring to see players like Andy Murray and Roger Federer. It's not a great thing, but they do play very well. I'm one of those who think that it's more important to be number 1 in the world than to win a Grand Slam. Of course you would say
I just said that.
Because of the situations I experienced firsthand.
Blah, blah, blah.
Of course you would say that.
Anyway, I think that pretty much nails it though, right?
I don't know. I'm looking for more.
Yeah, I mean...
Dylan Scott says it's disgusting discrimination that U.S. Open admits wheelchair tennis.
Oh, great topic here for a second. I saw this, forgot about this. Thank you. Wheelchair tennis has been alleviated from this year's U.S. Open, as it's going to happen. With no qualifiers. There's going to be less ball people. There's going to be some robots on the side. We're gonna shove this new ism of all robotism down everybody's face, and we're going to get a good product out of it. Now, at the same time, who gives a damn about those people that have lost legs and limbs or can't use them anymore? I tell you what, I have been around, 100 or more.
He said, I'm disabled, but that doesn't mean I'm sick.
Yeah,
I'm fitter and healthier than everybody else right now.
Exactly. I've been around at least 100 or more wheelchair matches, some of them at the U.S. Open. 2 years in a row I was at wheelchair matches there. These people have heart, and I say these people
junior
like
tennis,
they're different.
No mixed doubles.
So whatever.
And the tennis doubles for men's and women, the draw got cut in half as well.
Yeah, and you're going to tell me there's no asterisk next to this? You're going to tell me that Djokovic is a bad guy because he's trying to figure out if he's going to play, and you're going to tell me that Nadal is the most, orderly following dude when he's rushing off to pray the French, knowing he's going to win it. So anyway.
So Michael Walker said he's only losing to Nadal and Novak and players in the zone.
All right, so that's the news.
Are you done? Wait, Stefan says one thing. Yelena Jankovic said yesterday she didn't retire yet. Who has a better chance to win a Grand Slam? Roger or Justine's ex-girlfriend, JJ? That was his ex-girlfriend?
Who? Helena Jankovic?
I didn't know that.
How old is Helena right now? Is she mid-30s, 34, 35 now?
Probably.
I think Helena's probably mid-30s. And the question would be who would have the better chance if really fresh they got back to... I would have to lean towards Helena simply because 5 years on the body on the tennis court. The question was who would have a better chance?
Roger or just
a 40-year. Did he say Helena? Helena. Who do you say?
Yelena Yankovic.
Yeah.
Remember her?
Yeah, I've freaking been next to her before.
Okay.
I didn't say who's ex-girlfriend. I know who Elena Yankovic is, Serbian girl. And a feisty one, was top 10 in the world for a while. Yeah, that Helena Jankovic. Dark hair, dark eyes, pretty girl. Anyway, the question is who would have a better chance moving forward to win another major? A 40-year-old man, or a still younger and potentially has more life left in her body? I'm just saying, Roger Federer's not going to get it done. There's no way. There's no way a 40-year-old man's going to win a major. It's like Tom Brady going to win a championship with the Buccaneers. That's a better shot than he's got.
All right. Anyways.
Anyway.
All right.
All right, everyone. We're out of here. See you later. Much love. See you next time. Adios.
Bye-bye.